What's up, everybody? Akash Shinzi here with a video on communication basics. Today's video and topic is return back to being a little kid. Today's day and age, it feels like so many of us lose our sense of being a little kid. We have this idea that we need to be an adult, we need to act super serious, we need to pay off all our bills, go to dinner, go to the theater, do all of these things go to work in a very like segmented, from this time to this time I do this, from this time, just always being so anal and super organized on everything and taking ourselves so seriously. Now, first off, I'm not saying don't do any of those things. What I'm saying is that it's important to just come back to being a little kid and embracing that side of you as well. Just as much as the organized and that very clean packaged person is important, that adult self, the child self is just as important, if not, I would say arguably more so. And why? Well, a lot of our creativity and our beingness comes from our childhood. It comes from those times where we were carefree, those times where anything in the world that was going on didn't concern us, because all we were really concerned about was like, well, I don't know if I like the color red better or yellow better for this little picture that I'm painting, or your coloring book. Come back to the idea for yourself. Like, go back in time, just close your eyes for a brief second, take a deep breath into your nose, and go back to a childhood memory of you playing around with some toys. It could have been in the grass in the backyard of your home. It could have been inside right next to the TV. It could have been in your crib. It could have been at an aunt's or uncle's house or some type of family member's house. Take a moment to just recreate the scenery and start to feel what it was like to be in that smaller body, looking up at everything and seeing how large the world looked to you at the time. Take a moment to pick up one of your favorite toys, whether it was a Hot Wheels car that you were racing back and forth, a doll that you had in your hand and you liked to play with, an action figure, a book or a coloring book or some such thing. Whatever your favorite toy was back at this time in your life. And feel that feeling of openness and spaciousness, where nothing really concerned you. What concerned you was, oh, what am I going to have for lunch? Or, I want to play this game. So many of us, we forget that we can go back to that space. We are that little child. And when you bring that child into where you are today as an adult, mind-blowing. It's that sense of openness and creativity and always wanting to play with life. That's what so many of us are missing today, is that sense of when we go out, thinking of ourselves as so important and so rigid and stiff and, oh, I've got to be an adult like this. And it's just relax, ease, let go. Just pretend you are that little kid, but just in an adult's body. How would that little kid carry him or herself? How would they be? As we were talking about, it's stupid stuff. It's like just shaking your head or wiggling out in your body or it's all of this, come back to it. Don't take yourself so seriously. You're not a serious person at the end of the day. You are that little kid. You cannot convince me that, oh, that little kid's gone or whatnot. One of the things that many people who've suffered in some way, shape, or form in their childhood is that they try to avoid that piece of themselves because they don't want to relive some of those experiences. They don't want to be put back in that situation. And now that they're an adult, they feel that they can never be put in that situation because they're adults. They're super strong, or they have enough money, or what have you, that they're just never going to be in whatever traumatic situation they may have been as a child. But one of the things that we can do is we can reclaim that piece back from ourselves and go back into our childhood through visualizations together, remembering and and recreating the scenery in our head of, well, yes, this happened, accepting it. It's so important to accept whatever may have happened. Yet at the same time, you can recreate that and play with it and imagine in your mind now a new story. And by changing that circuitry and changing that memory within yourself, you're able to access that child's part of you in a way that's no longer traumatic or anything like that, but rather is fully embracing of that individual and that person and such. So what I want to say to you guys is return to your childlike state. Go back to being a little kid. Play in the dirt today. Go in the sprinklers. Do something that you know is like an adult would be like, oh, that's so reckless. Obviously, it's not going to like physically hurt you, financially, etc. But like jumping in the puddles if it's raining around you, or playing in the rain. If you think about it, what we enjoyed most as a child was a lot of these like sensual things, and in the sense that they involved the senses in many ways. And that's how a lot of the times we're disconnected from our senses, is that most adults, especially, at least I can speak from my industry particularly, you're in an office all day, you're only focused on what's going on in work. You think about all of these little things of like, oh, I gotta go to the grocery store, I have to go do my laundry, I have to go pay my taxes, I have to bam, bam, bam. It's just, there's no sense of allowing this like little gaps of freedom of like, oh yeah, I do have to go to the laundry, but I'm gonna wear a crazy shirt and a crazy pants that don't make sense together, but that's what I would have done if I was a little kid. Or, oh yeah, I have to go pay my taxes, but when I go pay my taxes, I'm gonna just be kind of like wild and crazy and such. And obviously, not in a way that's like disrespectful towards anyone, but in a way that just enriches you, where you pretend as you're going around, like you just see, you see whatever in the sky. So maybe you like play around and you're like, oh wow, look at that dragon in the sky. And I remember as a little kid, as I was driving around in the car with my parents and such, I always imagined things outside. I would see like, oh, well, right now we're in a spaceship and we're moving at the speed of light. Oh, I can see the planet Jupiter over there, and they're inhabited by these types of aliens who have out of their noses like a water spout kind of thing growing out of, like, it's just coming up with these crazy things and playing with it, letting yourself be creative. So return back to your childlike state today. With that, I leave you guys. Keep up, thrive, stay sexy.